What's up guys, I'm going to do another Black Ops 3 video, and this time we're going to be breaking down the Descent DLC 3 trailer, and we're going to be getting everything out of it as we can and just checking out all the tiny little details. So the first thing we have here is this bus, and a sign on top of it says Belinsky Square, so this leads us to believe that this map and this whole town has more to do with Nikolai than we originally thought, that this is somehow tied in with his family, and that it means more to him than, like we said, than we initially thought. Next up is a little bit better shot of what we got the other day in the tweet that Call of Duty put out, and it shows us that there will be a power switch on here. A lot of people are happy about this because they won't be including buckets with water like it was in Zetsubo no Shima, but I also want to point out that Zetsubo no Shima did have a power switch, but you had to use the buckets of water in order to get to the power switch, so it could still be the same way with this map, but I highly doubt that. I think that they will be going right back to the single power switch for this whole map, and that's good news. Next up, we have a zombie with red eyes, so this will definitely be tying in with Mob of the Dead somehow. Mob of the Dead was the first zombies map to feature zombies with red eyes, and the color of the zombies' eyes ties in with the storyline of who's controlling the zombies. So there's been yellow eyes, red eyes, orange eyes, blue eyes, white eyes, etc. So we know that in this map, zombies will have red eyes, but there are some zombies that have blue eyes in this map, which is pretty cool. But also in the top left of this image, you see a dragon flying around on the map, so they will be, just flying around and stuff too. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Next up, we have this guy on a mounted turret, and it looks like the MG42 from Call of Duty World at War, and this could just be a mounted turret, or it could be a weapon you get from the mystery box and he's just somehow able to plant it here or just aim down sights here. But I think this will just be like a turret, just like it was in like Kino or any of the original Black Ops 1 maps and stuff. We haven't seen turrets in a while. It's been a long time, so it'd be kind of cool to get one back again. But then also on the left side of the screen, we have this new really cool looking zombie here, and I'll talk more about this guy later. But we also have these little poles with these red lights on them, and this kind of reminds me of Origins. In Origins, around the giant's footsteps on the map, there are these little poles that looked almost exactly similar to this, but it would tell you if the giant was approaching and about to be stepping there, so you wanted to make sure you weren't in that area, or else you were going to die, unless you had like the golden helmet, of course. But that kind of reminds me of this too. And later in the trailer, we see the dragon flying around and start burning everything with fire. So maybe this is similar. It just kind of warns us that maybe the dragon will be coming soon and that we need to get out of this area and just kind of get away from this little trench thing. Next up, we have this really ripped looking zombie. It looks so gnarly. But in the background, we see the quick revive machine. And this could be one of the perk locations, or it could be the official location for Quick Revive, depending if this map has rotating perk locations. Every Black Ops 3 map except for Horizon has rotating perk spawns, so this might be just like all those where they all rotate, but at the same time, this is probably going to be somewhat near the spawn, because in pretty much every Call of Duty Zombies map, Quick Revive is always in the spawn room or very close to the spawn room. This next shot gives us a pretty good image of just kind of the main square and the main area of this map. I assume this is probably going to be the starting area, and that it'll lead us on a couple different pathways around the map. But on the left side here, we have this dead dragon with like its guts spilling out some stuff too. It's pretty gnarly. And so there will be dead dragons lying around the map. I'll point that out in a little bit. And it's also in this next image too. So on this next image, we have this dead dragon here, but we also have a robot in the background. And if you look on the robot's chest, you have a Russian star, and also the visor for the robots are red, and they all around look way different than they did in the Giant and in Origins and even in Horizon. So this looks to be the Russian type of giant robot that the Russians saw what Group 935 and the Germans were doing and made their own robots, so the Russians wanted to counteract it and make their own. And it might be relevant, but at the same time it might just be a little, extra little detail here. And then a few seconds later, we get the title of this map, which is GOROD KROVI, which, I don't speak Russian, but means the City of Blood, which also might, connect with the blood vials. And also, since the zombies' eyes are red, like they were in Mob of the Dead, we also might get more information about the blood vials of the Mob of the Dead characters that Richtofen's been carrying around with him. But in this next image, we have a skeleton, like we saw in Horizon, but it is like electrified and has blue eyes, which is different than the red eyes we saw previously. But this is interesting because we haven't seen like an electric zombie like this. We did have the Avogadro in Transit in Black Ops 2, but I don't really know how this is going to play out. Maybe it'll just deal extra damage to us, or maybe it'll just be a special zombie at a certain point in the map, kind of like it was in Horizon Rock. Once you go into the final boss battle is when the skeletons will start spawning. Next up, we have the dragon, which is actually blowing fire all around the map, and later in the trailer we see it blowing fire into this room. So I assume that the dragons will be a hazard in this map, and that it'll be somewhat similar to Origins, that there will be some dragons coming along the map, and if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, then you're going to end up dead. And speaking of it, here we are back in the main square, and we see a dragon is on top of this roof, just spraying down fire onto these zombies. And like I said, I think that the dragons will just randomly start spewing fire around the map at random points in the game on certain locations on the map, and it'll cut off certain points of the map, so you won't be able to go there for a certain little while. We also have a look at this new really gnarly looking Panzer Soldat upgraded zombie guy. He has like this weird wave energy thunder gun looking thing on his right arm, and so maybe this is like the new Panzer Soldat, like the Russian version of it. But it could also be like the Thrasher from Zetsubo no Shima, because in that map we were able to get multiple Thrashers on the map at the same time, so it would line up in that regard. But in this next image, we have the Argus shotgun with these weird looking metal flying robot things that have like these little pinchers and shoot stuff out at you. But also on the Argus, this guy has some like weird upgrade things to it. It looks like the acid gat upgrade from Mob of the Dead, and looks like it was just kind of upgraded a little bit too, which doesn't look like a normal pack-a-punched Argus. But going back to these little flying robot things, I think this would be like the Parasite rounds we have in Shadows of Evil. This will be our new Hellhound round, where once you kill all of them, you get a max ammo. But on this middle robot, it says 935, but I don't really know what to make of these things. I assume they're just kind of like going to be like reskinned Parasites from Shadows of Evil. Next up, we have a look at the shield, but in this map, the shield is made out of dragon bones, which is super cool. And you can also see the Argus walleye in the background. But in this next frame, we can see that the shield actually shoots out this like acid stuff, and it looks really cool. So in this next shot, we have the return of the Wonder Fizz machine. We haven't seen this since Horizon Rock. It wasn't in Zetsubo no Shima. We also have this cool looking thing on Nikolai's right arm, and it turns out it's the Ripper specialist from multiplayer, and that it just plowed through these zombies. And at the end of this, we get to see the speed cola machine in the top left corner. But I'm also really excited for this little specialist thing. I love the Ripper in multiplayer. It's such a good specialist, and I absolutely just love it, and it's my favorite specialist, and I can't wait to try it out in zombies. It also kind of looks similar to the Thunder Punch from Origins, so it makes me think it won't be our little specialist ability thing. It'll be a little upgrade thing that we might be getting similar to a challenge like we did in Origins, and then we might be getting some other specialist ability as our actual ability thing. In this map, we have the return of traps, and this trap here is similar to the Flinger from Die Rise, which is pretty cool. But also previously in the trailer, we had the electric trap returning, which is really nice. But this is really cool that we see the Flinger trap is returning. But in this next shot, we have the NX Shadow Claws from multiplayer are now making their appearance in zombies, which is really awesome. And there's also a couple new weapons that were introduced in multiplayer in the black market that are now making their way into zombies in this map. In the previous map, we had like the Razorback, which wasn't a black market weapon, but we had the Razorback, the HG40, and the Marshals were in the mystery box in Zetsubo no Shima. And that's really awesome that they're adding in new weapons. But in this map, we have the NX Shadow Claw dual wield, which is really awesome. And then later on in the mystery box, we get to see that the FFAR assault rifle is going to be in this map, which is essentially the FAMAS reskin from Black Ops 1. But in this next shot, we have this weird little care package trap thing falling down from the sky with this green light shooting it up into the sky, reminiscent of the mystery box. And I assume this is just going to be a distraction trap, because all the zombies kind of go near it and they all get electrocuted. But also on the left here, we see that Dempsey has this ray gun thing, but it looks different than the ray guns we've seen in the past, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So here's another shot of the trap actually electrocuting the zombies, and a little bit better shot of Dempsey with this ray gun looking weapon. But next up, we actually have the player using the mystery box. He gets the FFAR assault rifle. Like I said, it confirms that the FFAR assault rifle is making its way into zombies in this map, which is really awesome. I've really wanted to use this in the zombies because the FAMAS and Black Ops 1 was such an awesome weapon and I loved it, and it's awesome that we're finally going to be getting it in zombies again. But the next weapon that shows up in the mystery box is what I'm going to be calling the Ray Gun Mark III, because it looks like ray guns and it's green like the ray gun, but it's also dual wield like the wave gun like it was in Moon. So I'm assuming this is the Ray Gun Mark III because it looks similar to the Ray Gun Mark I, but it's also dual wield and also just looks a whole lot different, but really looks similar to the wave guns from Moon. But like I said earlier, we saw Dempsey with what I'm assuming is these, and it shot these little like green laser beams, so I'm assuming this is the new ray gun, the Ray Gun Mark III. But lastly, what this guy got in the mystery box was the PPSH. So the PPSH is finally returning from World at War. Such a beast gun in World at War. It was one of the best weapons in World at War, and so much fun to use in zombies. And then next up we see him actually take it out of the box and have it in his hands in first person. It looks so good in this game and I can't wait to try it out. But lastly, for this trailer, we have the dragons, and so as you can see here, the players are on this little platform thing on the dragon's back, so you can now ride the dragons around the map. But we also have this little platform thing that I assume you go over to, spend like 500 points, and then you can ride the dragon around the map. But I assume this is going to be similar to the lunar landers from Ascension, where you can just kind of go over to it and then it'll take you to a different part of the map, and then it'll kind of just drop you off, and then you can call them again. So I assume you just come over to this location, 500 points, call the dragon shows up, and then it takes you to do a different part of the map, similar to the teleporters, but most similar to the lunar landers from Ascension. So I can't wait to play this zombies map. We have dragons, new shield, FFAR assault rifle, Ray Gun Mark III, NX Shadow Claw, the Ripper Specialist coming. This whole map looks so awesome and I can't wait to play it. I'm really just so excited for this map. But tell me what you guys think of this in the comments down below. I put out a trailer reaction that you guys should go check it out, and it was my first time ever watching this trailer. So be sure you guys watch that and tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.